It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
It's an interesting day. It's October 20th, 2023, and this marks the 50th anniversary. On this day, 50 years ago, the Rolling Stones were number one on the U.S. Billboard singles chart with the song Angie. Angie! Mm-hmm. You know that song?
Yeah.
50 years ago, they had the number one single in America. And 50 years ago, people were saying, clearly they're going to be done soon, right?
Yeah.
Because a band being around for 10 years didn't make sense. The Beatles had 8. And so therefore everybody assumed you get about 8 years. The Stones were at 10 years, and it was considered pretty remarkable. They were number one on the Billboard chart 50 years ago. And today, 50 years later, they just dropped their new album, universally already considered to be their best work in at least 40 years.
That's
nice job,
Yeah.
Rolling Stones. Way to hang tough.
Those guys were just on CBS Sunday Morning last week. I don't know if you saw the interview at all, but wow. I mean, talk about the fact that they've been together for so long. They still hang. They're still cool with one another. And then they also have side gigs. Like, I don't know, I'm going to, play 70 shows a year and then also paint in my free time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Ronnie's been painting for years, and he's actually good. Go figure.
He's an incredible artist.
I think one of the big differences between the Rolling Stones, okay, let's look at the biggest American bands. And this has nothing to do about quality of bands, but it's just an interesting, it's a real difference. Like Aerosmith or the Eagles, American bands that have 50, 60 years, similarly to the Rolling Stones. The post-war British kids, when they were 16 and they were clearly not university material, they all went to art college. Mm-hmm. John Lennon did, Ronnie Wood did, Clapton did, Page did. They all did. That's where you went. And you could pursue music, but there was always a visual. There was always another genre of pursuit, if you will. And I think there's just I think that lends itself, or there's a reason that a lot of the English artists of that era have these other things that, Charlie Watts was a stylist. He drew and designed. He designed the Stone stages. Mm-hmm. He had the what those things look like started with Charlie's sketches. They all had these other things. The guys in Aerosmith, they're from New Hampshire. They were like, well, I was changing out the carburetor, which is fine, but it's just a different. They didn't go to art college.
Yeah.
They had it's a different sensibility. And I think as all these British rockers have aged, they've kept those other things a part of their life. And it's just an interesting difference. They didn't have much. They grew up on, rations, and post-war Britain was bleak and difficult. And they're like, what are we going to do with all these kids? I don't know. Send them to art school.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating.
Interesting.
Yeah, Ozzy and Sharon, their two kids. What is it, Jack and Kelly, right?
Jack and Kelly, Candace's first cousins.
Pretty much.
They were discussing the other day about how, hey, there were lean times. When we were growing up, there were lean times. I'm like, even your lean times are 1,000 times better than your dad's lean times.
Yeah,
Your dad's lean times were very, very lean.
You're crossing up your dad's stories with your own,
Yes,
guys. Let's stop it.
It's a race to the bottom. Who can be the bigger victim here? Yeah,
pretty much.
You're going to be fine.
But so the Rolling Stones' new album, Hackney Diamonds, after all these weeks, actually months of hype, I've already listened to 4 songs that weren't the first 2 singles this morning. Yeah, pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
It's not going to hold up. It's not going to be a record that 50 years on from, say, Exile on Main Street people are probably still listening to, because it's hard to beat, the apex of the late 60s, early 70s. That said, my God, it's a really good rock and roll record from a bunch of guys who are going on tour next year. This is the mind-blowing thing. I saw the Stones in 2021, and I was my wife and I went to Atlanta to see the show, and we were chatting with people at the little lounge area before the show, and there was I knew some folks that were there, and they had their kids with them, and it was there were a lot of people at a concert in 2021 seeing the Stones for the first time. There's going to be people in 2024 seeing the Rolling Stones for the first time.
Yeah.
Right.
And the Stones know that. They're going to get on stage and be like, we have to be great. What if someone says, I saw the Stones, they sucked? That still matters. Bruce Springsteen replaced Clarence Clemens, his saxophonist, when he died, with a whole horn section. And the band said the toughest rehearsals they ever had were after Clarence died. Because Bruce said, we owe it to Clarence to be better than we ever were with him. That's how they paid tribute to their brother who had died.
Nice.
That's beautiful. Like, no, we can't let him down. We have to be as good as ever, if not better. And the Stones still approach it. The Stones in 2021, it was astonishingly great. I went in thinking, I'm just here because I want to see them without Charlie. This is probably the last time. I had a lot of emotion swirling. It was a weight. I went there with a sense of, I'll never see these guys again, and I want to see Steve Jordan fill in for Charlie, and I walked out of there like floating, like it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. It was incredible, and that's such a testament to them. Live music still does that. I want to talk about live concerts today. I want to talk about first, worst, and best. Okay? First concert you ever saw, worst concert you ever saw, and then best, because it sounds better to say first, worst, and best than first, best, and worst. That's me. Zepp is coming back Monday. He's been in England all week. Rudy Povich has been sitting in. It's the final lap, brother. It's been fun.
It has been fun. Great week. Yeah, Tony and I were talking about this. You kind of come in and you hang for the week, and then by the end of it, you're like, this feels like, this is what normal. Like, I feel like Monday I'm going to wake up and it's going to be 4 a.m. and I'm like, I can go right back to bed. Yeah. Never mind. I'm going right back to bed.
Nice. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. I thought that was about to be a nice little moment, and now I want to smack you.
Yeah. No.
All right. Congratulations. That's what you get for trying to open a door for frivolity and warmth to a comedian.
Sleep well. Now we have your number.
Don't get me wrong.
Step on my toe again on the way out. Thanks.
Sure. Yeah. No. 6 a.m. I will definitely turn the show on.
Of course.
But
go right back to sleep again.
Back to sleep again. Yes.
And the dulcet tones of Tony Lee and Candace and Steven Zepp. No. You don't want that in your dream state.
No, you don't.
Hey, you know what? It's 6:30 a.m., ladies and gents. Do you know where your kids are? No, wait. Do you know where Mike Evans is? I do. He's on the phone. It's time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday.
Yes.
It's been a long week. It seems like it's been a long week this week. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, but it's been flying over here. I'm sorry to, I'm not trying to rub that in your face, but, we've had a good one.
Maybe shooting a 93 kind of slowed my week down.
Oh, listen to you. You're bragging.
Yeah. This report brought to you by Marcus Theaters. They're the best. Marcus proud to announce the Value Tuesday, $6 every Tuesday for every movie, 20% off concessions. And this weekend's Marcus Cinema, I'm going to go with the Oakdale Cinema.
Oakdale, right on.
Oakdale Cinema. From Marcus to movies. So, one of the best directors and a really great guy in Hollywood is Barry Levinson. He is going to direct Assassination, starring Al Pacino. This movie is based on the story that Chicago mobster Sam Giancana arranged the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
Oh, Lord.
As payback of JFK trying to bring down the mob's control of the drug traffic trade. Of course, we know in the beginning when JFK was sworn in just to his term as president, he assigned his brother, RFK Jr., to Attorney General.
Oh, yeah.
With the main assignment, stop drugs.
Yep.
I think this could be a good movie.
I hope that they rework that Human League song. Keep feeling assassination. That's my addled mind. I go right there.
There you go.
JFK, Mafia? Nah, let me talk about the Human League.
Movies this weekend, The Killers of the Flower Moon versus Taylor Swift. And if you have kids, it's Paw Patrol, The Mighty Movie. That's it, but hell, that's enough. I mean, I don't think you need any other movies than that. Don't forget that movie I suggested on Netflix, though.
Reptile.
However, let's not forget the huge music event today, the release of the Rolling Stones. First album in 17 years, Hackney Diamonds, drops today.
Yeah.
I have not heard the whole album. Have you?
I've heard 6 of the songs. I've heard the 2 singles and 4. It's fantastic. Mick Jagger sounds amazing. I mean, first things first, his voice is in as good a shape as it's ever been, and they're just clearly really, really inspired. Like any great artist, they, making an album without Charlie Watts, they realized if we're going to do this, it has to be great. I mean, I don't think they had that conversation, but that's just in the water of that band, which is if we're going to go on without Charlie, we owe it to him to be great, and I think they did that.
I can't wait to hear all the cuts. By the way, as predicted here, the Stones did play a small club, like they always do when they release an album. They played the Racket Club over on Chelsea, in Chelsea on 16th Street last night. Lady Gaga showed up for it as well. So that's they've done that ever since they started, and kind of an old tradition.
Oh, yeah.
Sports shorts. I don't know what the heck to make of this. The NFL is very, very worried about the violence in the stands and in parking lots between fans.
Yeah.
They say that there's been fights between fans at every stadium every week. What's wrong with people? Why are they fighting?
Yeah, what are you talking about? For every stadium every week forever. There's always fights in the upper deck at NFL games. That's why I sit up there.
Man. Here's a strange one for you. U.S. women's soccer team star Carly Lloyd, who I really like, nice lady, says that she didn't kneel or turn her back when the national anthem was played with other members of her team on the final Olympic game that they played, because she said she just basically had enough and was upset because they spent more time talking about that than practicing, and she thinks it cost them a medal. How about that for a strange twist?
She's a weird one. Great soccer player. She spent her entire life with a chip on her shoulder, backing herself into corners to bitch about it. I got no time for her. How about that for a hot take, Mike?
Well, my take on that is, she was on the team. She was a great player, and they didn't win gold. And I don't know what I sat and watched the two, but I thought, well, this doesn't make any difference. Play soccer. Let's win a gold medal.
She's bitching about the World Cup this year, saying, they how many teams have won 3 straight World Cups in men's soccer? None, ever. No one has. It's not a big deal that we don't always win the World Cup. No one wins 2 in a row, much less 3 in a row. They're still the greatest team in the history of women's soccer. She just wants some attention. Again, I got no time for Carly Lloyd. That's just me.
Kudos to Adele, who has her motherhood feet firmly on the ground. I love this. Despite Adele being worth, $175-200 million.
Okay.
She made a big deal saying that she's going to spend about $200 maximum on her son Angelo's 11th birthday this week.
Yeah.
She says she wants to keep her son grounded, and that's in every aspect of his life, and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on his birthday gift is no way to do that, keep him grounded.
I have always gotten the vibe from her that she's very real.
I like her.
I like her a lot. Any young pop star who cusses with such panache. She's very stylish when she works the room blue. She's good. I like her.
Yeah. Family and friends are worried about Britney Spears. She's playing with knives again.
Yep.
And now she's not answering her phone for hours at a time and not answering her door. Then she'll answer and she'll be fine. But they're worried with this book coming out. I don't know.
They're not real knives.
They're not real knives, and her family aren't real humans either, for the record.
Yeah.
What do you mean they're not real knives?
They're not real knives. The store
those are
bought
prop
them
knives.
at
Yeah,
came
sorry,
out
Candace.
and said that.
That's what she said, but I'm not going to argue about it. Her family was very worried about her.
No, they're not. They're worried about their take. They exploited her from the day she was born. I got no time for these people.
No time.
And scoop is, Kris Jenner is having a party this weekend, inviting Harry and Meghan. Kris wants to talk the former royal couple to be regulars on the Kardashian TV show. Now, my question is, does anybody really care about this?
That's a power move. That's a flex. She's saying, you're Harry and Meghan, and you're going to enter my world. That's Kris Jenner just putting them in their place. I love it.
What do you think the chances are that they'll show up and be regulars on the show?
I think they'll say they will, and then they won't, like everything else they've done.
It's just crazy.
I'm full of beans today, Mike. Maybe you're picking up on that fact. I got no time for anybody. I got time for you, of course.
I bet you have time for a song.
Sure.
Come on.
Oh, come on. Here we go.
Sing along. It's Aloha Friday. No work till Monday. We're going to play the Aloha Friday. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Talk to you on Monday. Lily Yokalani, Lani on the OK, Ella Koo, and the cock and the ark and hooey, 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 ho.
Aloha. Right on. The Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Nothing better than watching Rudy Pavich's face as that song entered the headphones, which is exactly what I did my first week here. I was like, what the hell am I listening to?
You're looking around the room.
Like I did the first week I was on the air. That he does that every Friday. And that started, and I looked over at Tony like, what is he having a stroke? I was really concerned.
Yeah. I like the fact that he always has a bongo at the ready, though. That's very nice.
It's he and Matthew McConaughey, the two of them. They go nowhere without bongos. On the KQRS Facebook page, we have the question, what's your first, worst, and best concert? And we have a billion comments already. The phone number, 651-989-ROCK, 651-989-7625. That's the KQ talk and text line. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to be talking about our first, worst, and best concerts at the top of the hour. But right now, it's time to look back in a different angle a little bit. It is October the 20th. On this day in 2004, the Red Sox beat the Yankees in Game 7 of the American League Championship. The Yankees had been up 3-0, and it looked like it was just another Red Sox collapse. And then the Red Sox exploded in Game 7. It was the first team to ever win a series after being down 3-0, and then that propelled the Sox to their first World Series title in 86 years. The curse was broken. I didn't watch that game because I, like everybody, was like, I can't watch the Yankees again destroy the city of Boston. So I went to the Ryman in Nashville, Tennessee to see my friend's Government Mule. And I was on the side of the stage, and someone said the Red Sox were up 11-0 or whatever the score was. And I was like, wait, what? And Warren Haynes, the guitarist of Government Mule, we talked about that fact. And here's an interesting baseball note for Warren Haynes. A stud pitcher through the age of 16, the man struck out Cal Ripken Jr.
No way.
He's got that going for him. In Babe Ruth League, North Carolina team, 16 years old. Warren Haynes, guitarist of Government Mule and the Allman Brothers, struck out Cal Ripken Jr. Not a lot of people can say that who also happen to be world-class guitarists.
Man, same year as the Bloody Sock, right? Wasn't that the year of this Bloody Sock?
Schilling's Bloody Sock, I believe you're right.
Yeah. Fever Pitch with Jimmy Fallon came out that year, and they lost their minds over the Red. I've lived on the East Coast for a while, and I got tired of Red Sox fans.
Have you ever read the book Fever Pitch? It's an English book. It's about Arsenal soccer, not Boston Red Sox baseball. It was adapted to the American. The book is great. You don't even have to like soccer to get it. It's awesome.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was Candace Wheeler's theme song, American Woman, from the Guess Who. You are an American woman, Candace.
I guess so.
Try and deny it.
I won't.
Where were you born?
Minneapolis.
I knew it. That's
Minnesota.
America.
HCMC, 1991.
Wow, 1991. Just a pup. Just a little pup.
You're probably naked, weren't you?
She came out in a Black Sabbath t-shirt.
That's exactly right. She came out and she had the fingers going, the metal, the rock, the metal. What do you call that?
Devil horns?
Yes.
Devil horns? Metal devil horns? Not the hook'em horns. It's the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, October the 20th. And we're talking concerts today. What do we say? First, worst, and best. Everybody's got a list. And I'll get into mine. My worst concert, though, it took me a minute. I mean, I don't have one ready to go, but then I think I came up with one. But Rudy, you're our guest this week. First concert.
We brought this up earlier in the week. Smashing Pumpkins,
That's right.
Hennepin Avenue. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Smashing Pumpkins, Hennepin Avenue is an outdoor show downtown Minneapolis that was just wildly overrun, correct?
Yeah. People, they thought maybe 20,000 people were going to show up. Turns out 100,000 showed up, and they were wildly underprepared for it.
Right.
Oh, but I do remember, because I'm a tiny man, and I do remember there was a guy who was he was probably like 6'1", and I said, hey, man, $10, let me stand on your shoulders. And he's like, all right. I gave him $10, and he put me up on his, like a child, he put me on his shoulder so I could see. And I was there for, a song, and then I got down, and I was like, thank you, that was worth it.
Did you have to pay to have him put you down?
Yeah, the ride up was free, but the get down was $10. It's like bungee jumping. But then, so that was the first one. Worst one? I'm going to take a ton of heat for this. AC/DC.
Okay, I'm turning this microphone off.
Yeah.
Rudy, thanks for coming in.
And here's why. Because first off, I love AC/DC.
Wait, I don't know what to say. What year was this?
It must have been, maybe 2010, 11. It was at XL Energy Center. And
Okay.
we went to the show, and we had a great time. Don't get me wrong. The show was amazing. The problem is our seats were right up against where the speakers were. Hands down, the loudest concert I've ever been to.
Okay.
My ears rang for 3 days afterwards, probably even 3 months afterwards. But yeah, visually amazing. Best concert only because the day before on my birthday, I saw the Foo Fighters play a guy's garage in Maplewood, and it was just the band.
Oh,
I thought, they're going to go ahead and play, a song or two, and then they'll shake some hands.
Right.
They played for an hour in a guy's garage. And then the next night...
Pretty great.
Yeah, and then it was right when their album Wasting Light, and I was kind of going through my separation with my ex at the time, and I listened to that. I listened to the wheels off that album. But then I saw him at the XL Energy Center the next night, and I think that was the best show I've ever seen.
Wow. Okay. All acceptable. Even the AC/DC is acceptable for the context and for the reasons you listed. I was not about to hear someone bagging an AC/DC gig, but no, I get it. No worries. Fully apologize for threatening to turn your microphone off. Tony Lee, your first concert.
Very first was Foghat and the Doobie Brothers in a cloud of pot smoke.
My immediate image was just smoke in a room.
Yeah. It was a big group of us.
Was this at like an older arena that's no longer here?
It used to be what is now the XL.
Yeah.
Was the St. Paul Civic Center.
Right.
So big, smoky arena.
So what year are we thinking this is?
Oh, it was
70s for sure.
Yeah, late 70s.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Foghat and the
my
Doobie
pals.
Brothers.
Uh-huh.
Best concert you ever saw?
That's tough. I've
know,
been
it's
like
tough.
jotting them down. I got Stevie Wonder, The Temptations, Amy Mann at the Guthrie,
Oh,
Midnight
gosh.
Oil. But I'm going to go with I saw Lindsey Buckingham at a very small theater, and there was just 4 guitarists, all acoustic show, and I got to meet him backstage afterwards.
What
That's
the
pretty
heck?
great.
Beautiful.
That's pretty great.
What the heck? You got to meet Lindsey Buckingham? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Touched his hair.
You touched his body?
Of course. There was so much groping that I look back now. No,
Yeah.
it was really cool. It was,
Wow.
yeah, pretty magical show.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty
Just
great.
amazing musicians.
Let's hear it, Candace. First concert.
Avril Lavigne.
That's right. We Avril Lavigne, Skater Boy.
Yep, I wore a tie.
Yeah, you
and,
did. Yes, you did.
It was very special.
That is very
It
special.
was a bow tie. You were very nerdy back then.
I love her.
Yeah, that's great. And so, worst concert?
Sting.
Oh, that's right. We
Because-
talked about it.
yeah.
Technical difficulties.
He's a little bitch.
The one with Paul Simon.
Same kind of thing. There was sound troubles.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was there too. Oh, my worst one was Rat. By the
Oh,
way.
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, just kind of background music to a
Yeah.
sloppy bad party.
Candace, best concert.
Oh, that's so hard, you know?
I
'Cause
know.
I just had so many wonderful
You could have a different
concert
answer tomorrow,
experiences.
but right now, what do you got for me?
I'll just say Black Sabbath at the Hollywood Bowl.
Atta girl.
because I went alone and I got a ticket in the 3rd row and it was amazing. I really like going to concerts like that alone, especially when I'm obsessed with the band because I feel like I can just be myself.
Sure. That's a beautiful thing. I love that. My first concert, Heart, at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. I was it was a weekend soccer trip, an unexpected, wait, Heart's playing? We can go? My buddy's mom just gave us money for tickets, which was like, what are you, rich? I couldn't believe it. Like, you just handed us $30?
Yeah.
So we walked into an arena and saw Heart in 1978 when they still rocked like crazy. It was awesome. Best concert I ever saw was right here at the old Paisley Park. I saw Prince in '94.
Nice.
During the NBA All-Star Weekend, and it is always, from the moment I walked out, I was like, I will never have a better musical experience in my life, and I never have. Nothing's come close.
That's great, man. You know, when Prince died, I was so upset. I put on Facebook, I was like, I can't believe I never saw Prince live in concert.
Oh,
and then,
man.
no
You
joke,
didn't?
in the comments below, somebody posted 4 pictures of me at a Prince concert. I'm like, I had no idea. I saw him, I saw him in Milwaukee during Summerfest and had completely forgotten about
Nice,
it.
nice. That was a special gig for a lot of, the gig itself was incredible, but I was also standing next to just literally within 6 feet of Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Dominique Wilkins. It was the NBA All-Star Weekend, and it was a private NBA party.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I got in, and I was like, holy crap, this is my everything I care about in the world in one room. It's pretty great. Worst concert ever, Great White.
Really?
I had to think about it. I saw Great White in 1989 at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. Yeah. And I only went because we were soliciting management and their manager wanted to meet our band. And so we went. But I sat there and it was like everything I hated about music in 1989. Yeah. And they just weren't, it was like watching LARPers in a Renaissance fair. I was like, you guys aren't even, you're not a real band. You're playing the part of a band from LA. I don't know, something about it probably says a lot more about me than Great White. But I remember watching this. And by the time the show ended, I was there with Robinson, my singer, and we both said, well, we'll go meet this guy, but just because he manages Great White, we'll never work with this. We were like, no way. I'm not about to have a manager who manages this.
This is Jack Russell, right? That was his name?
That was his name.
I'm not. Listen, you should never ever watch a man on stage who has the same name as a dog. That's good
agree.
Advice. Yeah.
And honestly, I'd be willing to bet if I saw a film or a video of that gig right now, I'd be like, oh, it's fine. But at that stage of my life, it was more me for real. But it was like it was being forced to do something I wouldn't have otherwise done at a time when I just didn't have time to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's how that goes. On the KQ Facebook page, we have so many. But Naomi wrote, my first was Foreigner, my worst, B-52s. Watch yourself. B-52s, I've seen them 3 times. It's amazing. I've never had anything but a blast at a B-52s gig.
I hear the concerts are great. I can't listen to the albums. It's a little too, I don't know, whatever it is. But the concerts are apparently the best time ever. You have so much fun.
It's just a party, man. Yeah. The B-52s played at the Super Bowl in Atlanta in 2000, January or 2000. It was the St. Louis Rams, Tennessee Titans Super Bowl. And at the Georgia World Congress Center, which is right next to the big stadium, they have all the Super Bowl parties going on the morning of the game. And you're walking through like this giant convention center. And there were 2 artists performing at the same time on opposite ends of this giant place. Mm-hmm. And if you stood in the middle, you could hear both. And it was the B-52s and Travis Tritt.
Oh, what an
and it felt like an
contrast.
acid trip. It was just like we were standing there going, this is the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. No, I was going to say, here's how forgettable it is. If you Google B-52 Super Bowl, it's all flyovers. It's just U.S. military jets going over this. They don't even. It's not even on the internet.
Well, it wasn't on TV. It was just for if you were there. It was one of those. So, that's pretty great. Candace, we have callers waiting to tell us their stories. Who we got?
Kimberly from Bacchus.
Kimberly, good morning.
How are you?
Great, thank you. How are you?
I just have to say I am so stoked and actually so nervous. I'm having a conversation with the Steve Gorman.
Wow. I'm not going definite article. I'll go indefinite. I am a Steve Gorman because my dentist is also Steve Gorman. Don't forget that.
Doesn't count. But I also love the awesome KQ Morning Show crew.
Thank you. We're very excited to be speaking with the Kimberly. Make no mistake about it.
So I did post it on Facebook, but I did go to Sean Cassidy back in 1978. My father took me.
Oh, my God. I would have screamed if I had gone to see Sean Cassidy in 1978.
My worst concert, unfortunately, I hate to say this, I feel kind of mean, was Foreigner. Mm-hmm. I love Foreigner, but Lou Gramm, I think he had a brain tumor.
Right.
And he kept trying to sing after that, and it didn't work out for him very well.
Oof, that's tough. That's tough.
What my best concert was?
It was, I'm going to say Britney Spears with Christina Aguilera. I don't know. What was it?
Hell no. The Black Crowes.
That a girl.
Red Rocks in Colorado. It was epic.
What year was this?
Oh, shoot. I would say... Oh, shoot. I'm going to say like 2000 and that doesn't even sound right. It had to have been in the 90s.
Okay. I mean,
I should have looked it up.
That's quite all right. Did I have a beard? I can tell you, but based on my hair and beard length.
She can't remember the year.
I'm kind of kidding.
Because Steve remembers you being there.
No, this is what I remember about every time I ever played Red Rocks. I really, really, really loved it until the show started. Because then you're on stage and you can't breathe and there's no moisture in the air and you can't get a good sweat going and everyone else is having the best time of their life and I'm sitting there going, I hate to spoil the party, but I think I'm going to die. But yeah, it's an amazing place for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember. So you guys have played there several times then, I guess.
We have, but that's quite all right. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. I'm glad you made it out there to a gig. I will watch anybody at Red Rocks. It's an incredible spot to see music.
I have one more thing to say.
Bring it on, Kimberly.
I don't know if you remember this concert. So my husband was my husband that passed away. He was a huge fan, and you guys came to First Avenue in Minneapolis under a different name.
The OD Jubilee Band, December of '94. But who can remember such things?
I was there.
Nice.
Because there was a person dressed up as Uncle Sam.
Yeah, my cousin, Jeffrey. My cousin was dancing on stage in an Uncle Sam Crow suit. That's right.
That was so cool. Just because the venue is so small, we were just right there, and everybody that was a true fan was there. So it was pretty cool.
Well, that is pretty cool. I remember that night very well, Kimberly. I'm glad you were there. I'm glad your husband was there. I'm sorry for your loss, and I'm thrilled that you got a chance to call in. It was great to talk to you.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day, and I appreciate your time.
See you, Kimberly. Right on.
What a doll.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
You just start thinking about the concerts you've seen, the ones that mean the most, and what means more, honestly? Nothing.
No, you know what I took away from that was when she said she saw you at Red Rocks, you said, what year? I was like, multiple times. That's how envious.
A lot of times.
Because, man, I the first time I went there, I took my daughter to see Weird Al.
At Red Rocks?
At Red Rocks. He played with the Colorado Symphony.
Wow.
Oh, that'd be great.
And it was magical. And then I saw Incubus there, I think, a year ago.
Okay.
But it's a magical,
it's
venue.
incredible. It's incredible. I'll give you a good Red Rock story, but we gotta hit it. We've got a bunch of folks on hold. Stay there. We're gonna get all your calls. Next segment, we're gonna listen to your first, worst, and best concerts. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Friday, October the 20th, 30 minutes from now, we're giving away Queen with Adam Lambert tickets. 30 minutes from now, we're giving tickets away. It's going to be kind of cool because we're kind of cool. We're talking about concerts today. It's a Friday morning filled with great memories. First, worst, and best concerts. On the KQ Facebook page, we have hundreds of comments. I've got a single one out. Michelle writes, first concert, Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you have my attention. Worst concert, Nickelback. What is the Venn diagram of people who saw Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, and Nickelback? I think that's a Venn diagram of one, Michelle. Yeah. Well done. My God, that's hilarious to see those two together. Oh, and by the way, her best concert, Fleetwood Mac, Candace.
Yeah, she's smart.
Apparently, Michelle likes artists that wear a lot of jewels on their clothes.
Sure.
Nickelback had the bedazzled jeans all the time, and Elvis with the rhinestones.
The king was not afraid of a good jeweler.
No.
I make no mistake of it. Just the rings alone. Yeah. My God. Don't get me started on that Derringer with the diamonds on the handle. Come on, man. The king was the king for a reason. Pam wrote, my first concert of all time, Alan Jackson, George Strait, best ever. And the worst was George Jones because he didn't show, which is also what's called going to see George Jones. My man, the possum, you couldn't get that dude on a stage, man. Forget it.
Really?
He had there were times in his career when he had 2 gigs booked in 2 different cities on the same night. George Jones is incredible.
Wow.
That's awesome. All right, we got a lot of folks that wanted to share some thoughts with us. Candace, who's on the horn?
Alan from Caledonia.
Alan, good morning, sir.
Good morning, KQ Show. How are you?
We're great, brother. What do you got for us?
Oh, man. First was Marshall Tucker Band.
That'll work.
Best was a 20-way tie. Seen too many good ones.
There you go. Good answer.
Worst, I'm tied with you and Rudy both. I saw White Snake and Great White in 87.
Mm-hmm.
Bought my girlfriend a ticket. She was living on the other side of, this concert was halfway in the middle.
Okay.
We show up. she shows up with her new boyfriend.
Oh,
whoa!
So they start making out, so I beat his ass down, and
well, okay, fair enough.
got ejected. So, and then AC/DC, well, Rudy knows where Madison is, so we went down there, rented just like you did yesterday, Steve, rented a van for all your friends. And
right.
we took a 3-hour road trip down there. We were primed and ready to rock. Well, they canceled the show.
Oh,
we didn't know that till we showed up in the parking lot and saw these dejected people walking around moping. It's like, well, we're already a mess, so might as well keep tearing it up. So,
yeah, of course.
But then they rescheduled and had that. I don't know when it was, 2 months later, but did the same thing, same van, same group of buddies. And,
yeah.
Just eager to see them. So
second time it worked out, though.
It did.
All right, fair enough. Alan, thank you for the call, brother. We appreciate it.
You bet.
See ya.
I want to save that quote. They start making out, I beat his ass down.
That was great. That was fantastic. Tony, we got a lot of text messages as well.
Yeah, and just loving the variety. Yeah, this one's a surprise. From Leslie, Barry Manilow, best concert ever.
Right.
What a performer.
Nice.
Another one, Ella says, best show she saw in Anaheim Amphitheater on Halloween was Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dead
there
Man's
you go.
Party.
Yeah. Worst was Sting. He was moody and played only 9 songs.
No.
That was probably when I
Gordon.
And the best and worst was the same show, Motley Crue opening and getting booed, and Tommy Lee yelling, Minnesota sucks. Then headliner Aerosmith was amazing, apparently that same
Fair
night.
enough.
Hey, he's screaming Minnesota sucks, but then Vince pulls him aside. He's like, dude, we're in Michigan.
Right.
It's not Minnesota.
That's exactly
Very
right.
good.
Oh, that's fantastic. We were talking about Red Rocks in the last segment. I said I had a good Red Rock story. The first time we ever played there, 1990, it was the first show on a 6-week tour opening for Robert Plant, 1990, and we had just spent the summer with Aerosmith and then a month with Heart, and now we're going out with Robert Plant. Aerosmith, they were fine, but it was a weird, stiff vibe. They were very aggressively sober, and each guy in the band had a sober guy next to him. In fact, we were on tour with Aerosmith. They didn't allow us to bring beer into the arena.
Wow.
As the opening band, we could not have alcohol anywhere near them. So it was stiff. It wasn't what we're like, we're going out with Aerosmith. We're thinking it's going to be a party. It was not. I get it. It's fine. But as a 24-year-old, I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Then we go out with Heart. Couldn't have been more gracious and accommodating. But it was pop Heart. It wasn't rock Heart. And it wasn't our vibe. So by the time we're going out to start with Robert Plant, we're like, man, these opening tours are just not what we thought they'd be. He turned out to be the coolest dude ever. And it started, we're in Red Rocks, we're in our dressing room about to play, and we're literally having a conversation. God, I wonder if we're even going to meet him. The door bursts open. Hello, boys. And he comes in, and he immediately goes, I love the record. It's great to see a proper rock band. We're going to have some fun. I'm sorry I'm so late. I wanted to get here earlier, but we're going to have a great time. If you need anything, you know Rex, my tour manager, I'm around, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, the first time Zeppelin ever played a show in America was Denver. We flew here Christmas Day, 1968. I was 19 years old, and we're all just going, nice. Like, all of a sudden, we really can't catch our breath. He comes in, and he has a burst of manic 7-minute storytelling, and he just turns around and leaves. And we're like, oh, my God. It was truly like the God walked in and said, you guys are cool, and we're going to have fun. And we had the best. For 6 weeks, every day was like that. He was awesome. It was the best.
Hello, boys.
So from that moment, Red Rocks is always pretty special, despite the fact that I can't breathe when I'm there. Okay, Candace, we have another caller.
Yes, we have Peter from St. Paul.
Peter, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What do you got for us?
Well, you say everybody's got a list. Mine's pretty huge. It's like it's 4 college ruled pages, double columned.
Nice.
The fourth page is almost completely full.
Damn. All right. Well, it's all subjective. You have different moods. You remember differently. But let's start at the beginning. What's your first concert?
May 3rd, 1970, Jimi Hendrix, St. Paul Auditorium.
Oh, well, aren't you just flexing? That's incredible.
Well, you asked for it.
I did. Okay, and it's impossible to say, I know, but give me a best. And you can change your mind later today. What's the best?
There are so many bests, but first I'll go for my worst. The Police, warmed up by XTC at the Minneapolis Auditorium, at the Minneapolis Armory.
Gosh, on paper, that sounds incredible. What was wrong with it?
And it should have been, but the armory was acoustically
horrible. Oh, okay.
I couldn't understand a goddamn thing I heard.
Okay. I understood that.
Get off my lawn.
They've corrected the problems. I've since seen Steve Miller Band there, and it was much better.
Okay. All right. Very good.
So I recommend going there for anybody. It's a good venue now. It wasn't back in 80-something.
Gotcha.
My best bet's got so many to choose from, but I'd have to say Pearl Jam, the second to the last time they were here.
Wow.
I was, and I even had seats that were like behind the stage, but they had it set up, so I might as well have been, in the middle of the front. And they played their entire song list. I was exhausted. I was pleading for them to stop, but it was excellent. And they, and my last concert was Clapton, just recently.
Mm-hmm. Well, and, my man, you've got. I mean, anybody who starts off by saying Hendrix, I mean, so far you're the clubhouse leader right now, brother. Make no mistake about that. We got to bounce. I really appreciate you sitting and waiting for us, and thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you. Good night.
You got it, man. What about that? Yes. Let's see. First concert was Jimi Hendrix.
God.
Okay. Yeah. We've gotten it. We have an Elvis on Facebook. We have a Hendrix caller. I need a Little Richard from 1959 just to solidify this whole thing.
Yeah.
Let's get one more call, Candace.
All right. We have Paul from Chaska.
Paul, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Oh, great, sir. What do you got for us?
First concert, The Cult and Metallica, $16, 1989. Deck Arena in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah, I saw that same tour in Atlanta in 1989. So, yeah, that was the Injustice for All tour.
Yes, sir, and Sonic Temple for the Cult.
That's right. Very good.
Yes. Best concert, without a doubt, The Cure, the Swing Tour, 1996, Target Center.
I'm not surprised to hear that. I saw The Cure this year, and it was spectacular.
I was there too, sir, with my two sons, and that was the first time they saw him, and it was a great show.
Yeah, it was really, really great. All right, give me a dog. What do you got?
The worst show, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, 2002 Target Center. It was like watching a funeral on stage.
Dang.
A little bit of a lackluster night for the boys?
And that was a band, and just every member I grew up listening to, and they were my heroes. And it was like, what am I doing?
Oh, man. That's a rough one.
Honorable mention, Steve, the tour of Brotherly Love, Oasis, Black Crowes, and Space Hog at Target Center. You guys sounded amazing.
That was XL. That was not the Target Center. But, yeah, thank you.
Well, my bad.
No, hey, no worries.
God, Steve.
I'm just saying. I remember these things. That I'll take it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the call.
Thank you, guys.
It was a weird night. I remember it very well because that tour, Space Hog, Oasis, Black Crowes, we were mostly outdoor amphitheaters, and then the one like indoor show was XL Energy Center. So it was just such a different vibe. We had this great. It was May and early June, and it was just every night out there and great summer weather. It's just a different environment, and then in the middle of that, just pull into one arena, it was just like, oh, this is weird. This is more like a winter gig.
Mm-hmm. I'm very impressed by how much you remember about such a whirlwind 30 years of your life.
It's a curse.
Yeah. I just played Boise like 6 months ago, and somebody was like, hey, you want to go do Boise? I'm like, I've never done Boise. And they're like, dude, you were there like literally, like you were there in May. I'm like, oh, that's right, I was. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a chore. I would love to delete most of the files in my brain.
Yeah.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, October the 20th. Whoo, baby.
Wow.
Which means we are 1 week away from Queen and Adam Lambert at the XL Energy Center. Wow. Candace said wow.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us, we're talking concerts today. First, worst, and best concert of your life. You can go to the KQRS Facebook page and add to the many, many countless posts we're getting. You can text or call us 651-989-ROCK. We'll get back to that in a little bit because right now we have a little bit of business to take care of, and that is giving away tickets to the aforementioned Queen and Adam Lambert concert a week from tonight at the XL Energy Center. We have 2 callers who are ready to play, and the game they will play today is, Tony Lee?
They are lucky enough to play this gem. Okay, this is the last day for our Queen ticket giveaway.
Right.
So appropriately, we're going to go with Another One Bites the Dust. So whether it was a missed show, a canceled gig, something didn't go right, we're going to give you an incident that happened to a band, and you tell us if it's true that it happened or made up.
Wow, I like it. Yeah, sounds good, man.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be.
Fair enough. The never-ending inventiveness of a Tony Lee. It's an honor to sail upstream next to you, sir.
Oh, you.
No. All right, Candace, we got a couple people ready to play. Who's caller number 1?
Rochelle from Maple Grove.
Rochelle, good morning.
Good morning.
You all right today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Great. Are you a Queen fan?
I am.
Well, you are in the right place. We are going to play Another One Bites the Dust. Good luck.
I think I'll need it.
Fair enough.
Okay, dear, here's your first one. Neil Young canceled an entire European tour in 97 because he sliced his finger cutting a ham sandwich in half. His quote, "It's macaroni and cheese from now on." Did that happen? True or false?
Yeah.
It did.
Yes.
Poor Neil.
Yes. Poor Neil.
Number 2, during the Coachella Music Festival, outspoken animal activist, singer Morrissey stormed off the stage after he smelled meat, saying, "I can smell burning flesh, and I hope to God it's human."
Huh. I will say yes.
You have answered correctly.
I smell the flesh as it burns. Yeah, I can see that totally.
Number 3, Candace Wheeler, singing for the Black Sabbath tribute band Sabotage, is responsible for the group canceling a showcase at the North Jam Jamboree in 2022 because of her overconsumption of post-Halloween on-sale Reese's Peanut Butter Cups and subsequent explosive diarrhea.
Oh, my God. I'll say no.
Correct.
Oh, but we wanted it to be true, didn't we?
And if it was true, I would not be ashamed.
No, not at all.
It was actually Three Musketeers.
Yes.
Candace is no stranger to the joys of diarrhea. So, I don't know what I like better: the look on Candace's face or the pause from Rochelle. No,
It could happen.
it's great.
All right, 2 more. Number 4, pop singer Iggy Azalea canceled her entire 2015 U.S. tour just before it was scheduled to start for the simple reason that she was, in her own words, totally bored with her own music and didn't want to perform it anymore.
I'll say yes.
You are doing spectacularly well.
God love her. We could have taken a few years off for that very reason along the way, looking back. Jeez.
To be fair, we were all pretty bored with Iggy Azalea, so thank you, Iggy.
Man.
Your last one, love. July 2010 in St. Louis, Missouri, in what's known as the Pigeon Poop Incident, a flock of pigeons began defecating above an outdoor performance of the band Kings of Leon, and bassist Jared Followell took a heap right into his mouth, which ended the show after only 3 songs.
Gotta be true.
Wow.
100% true.
Kapow. She got them all.
By the way, no respect for a kid who lets a little bird crap end a gig.
Yeah.
Spit it out, rinse it out with some beer, and get back up there, boy.
Yeah, Ozzy ate a bat and still performed, okay? Listen,
Right.
you're fine.
And
But
alcohol.
They don't understand. The bird poop got in my mouth. I can't even.
Yucky. And alcohol is disinfecting. So.
Kind of thing you do when you can't play your instrument. Okay, anyway, I didn't say that. Listen, 5 for 5. Hell of a job. Sit tight. We're going to get to caller number 2 now. Candace, who is caller number 2?
We have Dale Lynn from Farmington.
Dale Lynn? Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Good morning, Dale Lynn. How you feeling?
Good. How
you?
We're great. Are you excited to maybe go see the band Queen next week?
I am.
All right. Well, best of luck to you. Rochelle went 5 for 5, so you get your work cut out for you.
She crushed it.
She did. Tony, take it away.
I believe you can crush it as well. Your first one in 1982, Joe Strummer of The Clash messed up several dates of the band's tour by disappearing to Paris to run a marathon, grow a scraggy beard, drink massive amounts of beer, live on the streets until he eventually surfaced again.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go true.
Yes.
Wow.
That did happen.
Jolt and Joe Strummer just decided at the spur of the moment to run a marathon. God bless him.
Took a little sojourn. Next to in 1992, the Black Crowes failed to finish a show after their spontaneous and unpredictable drummer Steve Gorman takes a break backstage to shave his head on a whim, gets detained by security when trying to re-enter the stage area as an all-points bulletin was sent throughout the county regarding an escaped mental patient, and he unfortunately fit the description.
I remember him telling this story, but I don't think it went quite that far. I'm going to say false.
Good for you. You didn't take the bait.
Wow. Tell me more, Tony.
It was uncomfortable, wasn't it?
It really was. I was like, I don't think that happened, but Tony seems to be kind of confident.
What number was that?
That was number 2.
All right, sir.
We're up to number 3.
All right, we're back on track. 2005, Brian Harvey, frontman for the band E17, was responsible for the band losing a year of concert dates because of a potato-induced car wreck. He had stuffed his face with several potatoes covered in tuna, mayo, cheese, rolled over to throw up, but he hit the accelerator instead of the brake and hit several parked cars and was thrown out of his car, crushing his pelvis. Did that happen? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Darn it, anywho.
Man.
It did happen.
Mouthful of spuds.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, too many potatoes.
Dadgummit. They're just so tasty.
Want to go with the last two anyway?
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Heck
All
yeah.
right. Nice attitude. A 4th of July music festival at Martha's Vineyard is canceled when members of the Silver Bullet Band members require emergency trauma counseling after Bob Seger gets stung by a wasp and can't stop crying.
False.
I'm sorry. No, that is true. I'm kidding. Why do I like to do that?
Wait.
I just...
So it was false.
It was false,
It's
yes.
true that it was false.
It's true that it was false, Bob Seger.
You're running me around the rosy here.
He's a crybaby, but not over wasps.
Okay.
And the last one...
Although that is a very waspy area, Martha's Vineyard.
Correct.
See what I'm doing there? Catch that? Following?
Nice. That was impressive.
Picking up what I'm putting down.
Baby. Last one, Rivers Cuomo of Weezer wiped out several show dates for the band when he decided to suddenly get leg lengthening surgery, which he attributed to a huge inferiority complex about being a short rock musician.
True.
It was true.
Wow. Really?
Rivers. Yeah.
Go figure. Dale in 4 for 5, which is really, really strong, but unfortunately not quite enough for the Queen tickets. However, you're not going to leave empty-handed. We've got tickets to see Rumors of Fleetwood Mac. That's Friday, October 27th at Treasure Island Event Center. Thank you for calling in, and congratulations. Rochelle, you're the big winner. You got Queen tickets a week from tonight at the XL Energy Center. We certainly hope you have a great time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Thank you, guys. Let's go back, shall we? Rivers Cuomo got leg lengthening procedure.
Yes, leg lengthening
I had
surgery.
no idea. How did I miss that story?
Yeah,
Isn't that
never heard
bizarre?
of, you guys know how when somebody who becomes deaf and they decide to get the cochlear implant, the deaf community kind of turns their back on them. Like, no, we don't. You are a part of our community now.
Sure.
You should learn to acclimate. That's how I feel about Rivers Cuomo at the moment. I'm like, listen, we're both short men. I am barely 5'6". He is also 5'6". Now you're out of the club, my man. I'll never look at Rivers Cuomo the same ever again.
And it was just one leg.
That's very
to even things out.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. 1995.
Go figure.
Oh, wait, so did he do it because to correct? Like, so obviously, if one leg is longer than the other, he's going to walk a little weird, right?
No, but apparently the quote was he had a huge inferiority complex about being a short rocker.
Okay, first of all, there are more short rockers than tall rockers by far. And I say that as a tall rocker because my band at our apex in the 90s, there were 6 of us. Everyone was over 6 feet tall. And there's no band that could come close to us for height.
No.
Ever that we ever crossed paths with. You have every band had like 1 tall guy. We had 6 tall guys.
Sure.
And we walked around like we were, the lords of Flatbush. Like, at these festivals, we'd be like, hey, what's up, little man? We were just ridiculous about it. Cool. But, but what a weird go see AC/DC. They're 5'1".
Yeah.
Angus and Malcolm fit literally in my coat pockets.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy when you see somebody from stage, they look like monsters up there. They look huge. And then they come into a radio station and you're like, I have to get the creamer for the coffee off the shelf for Angus Young. Like, it's so weird.
Well, the next time, look at an SG, the guitar that Angus plays. Yeah. Look at one in person, and then look at a photo of him holding it. It looks like he's holding a lawnmower.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's huge on him. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's a little tiny guy. The Rolling Stones guys are small. None of those guys are over 5'10". Mm-hmm. What's the average height? 5'10". I'd say maybe Mick is, but the other guys are like 5'8", 5'9". Good solid English stock.
What about Kiss out of their platforms?
Yeah, I think I was going to mention Kiss. I think Gene Simmons is 6'4", maybe.
No, not that tall.
Not that tall,
no.
But still tall. I mean, taller for a rock star. Yeah.
Sure. I'm just trying to think. I've met a lot of guys. Robert Plant's like my height. He's 6'3". Oh, yeah. Or he was in his 40s. He may have, I'm just saying, a lot of guys, you lose a half inch, an inch along the way. He was like, the first time we met him, because I mentioned that story earlier today, I remember thinking like, he is Percy, the Viking god. He's huge, it was surprising to see. I'm trying to think, the guy in Midnight Oil, Peter Garrett, he was like 6'7".
Wow,
that dude
he was
had
big.
me by several inches. I was like, man, that dude is not kidding around.
I like the yin and yang. I like when there's one tall guy and one short guy. I like, James and Lars from Metallica. I like that there's, you want the little buddy. Mm-hmm. I don't like it when both people, like both stars of the bands are, 6'6" or whatever it is. I want a little bit of variety in my height.
There was one other, who am I trying to think of? There was a guy who had played like college football and then was in, the band Blues Traveler, harmonica John Popper. The guitar player's name is, I think, Chand, and he's about 6'5" and was like 250. He was huge, and he had played college football, if memory serves. Yeah, that was it, because I remember meeting him and being like, are you your own security guard? Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not a lot of... There are so many rockers who aren't big. That's interesting that Rivers Cuomo was like, I can't be a little guy in rock. Yeah. And let me just say this. From the bottom of my weird heart, Rudy, you said you've made mention of the fact that you're a small guy twice. You carry it in a way that I don't think... If somebody said to me, how tall is Rudy? I would have said, 5'10", 5'11". I mean, I haven't marked you as a guy that's not that tall.
Yeah, I think until you put me, up against a wall or back to back with somebody, the shoes definitely help. I kind of do the George Costanza thick sole to add a little bit of height. Yeah. And then, in fact, there was one time at a bar where I was waiting to get a drink, and this girl had come up and we started chatting, and then I said, hey, we're all going to go our separate ways. How about the end of the night? 1 a.m. We all come back to the bar. We meet. My apartment's up above the bar. We all hang out. She's like, absolutely. What she didn't realize was I was standing on the brass rail that was on the ground. And when I jumped down off the rail and we became eye level, the look on her face was like, I think we're good. Yeah. They never came back to the bar that night. Yeah.
But you have good balance. You had that going for you.
Yeah.
Be able to stay up there.
I'm constantly surprising people the other way because as a drummer, I sit. And there's just this thing. I mean, I can't tell how many times it's like, I didn't know you were so big. It's always just like, oh, geez. Like I'm a Yeti walking towards someone off the drum kit.
You just keep going.
Sorry. Oh, speaking of Kiss, by the way, I don't know how tall. Yeah, Gene's over 6, but he's not like 6'4".
I just looked it up, 6'2".
Okay. And Paul's probably pretty close to 6.
6 foot, yep.
Okay. I saw Tommy Thayer, the guitarist, who's not Ace Frehley, but he's been with them for longer than Ace ever was. He's also a 6-footer, got to be. I saw them, and I took my son backstage to get a photo with them when he was like 9. And it was the funniest thing ever. They're on their way to the stage, and Gene, Paul, and Tommy are all 6 feet tall and wearing their boots. So they're like 6'8". the three of them. The drummer, who doesn't wear boots because he has to play drums, and you can't do that in giant boots, is also about 5'5". Mm-hmm. So he's not wearing boots. He's got three bandmates who are already 6 feet tall, and now they're 6'8", and the four of them walking down the hall. It really was. I thought it was the drummer from Mini Kiss, the Little People band of Kiss. I literally thought that. I was like, did they replace him with? And then I went, oh wait, no, they were wearing their boots already. I just always felt so bad for the guy. I don't even know his name. He's been with him forever. I was like, man, he hates that walk to the stage.
Yeah,
he's already got 6 inches less, and now he's got a whole foot less.
Yeah, he has to strap on the boots when they go out for the final bow, just so it doesn't look so weird, like they put an apple box down for him. Yeah,
that's pretty great. All right, we're gonna come back and get back into concert talk. Faux show. We have first, worst, and best concerts. You can call us 651-989-ROCK if you want to share, or go to the KQRS Facebook page. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
Hey, right now, joining us in the studio, our buddy Brian Miller is here, a comic of note, and a guy who you were here how long ago?
It was not long ago.
It was not long ago at all. We had a good time. It was a very fun conversation, and today you stopped by to tell us about an upcoming show that is anything but a fun conversation. The show's going to be great, but it's unfortunate that it even has to happen. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of what you've put together here?
Yes, for about a year and a half or so, I ran a show called Beatdown with my friends Neil and a guy named Dave Velk.
Okay.
And it was a combination comedy rap show. We would start off with stand-up, and then we would do a stand-up roast battle, and then that would bleed into a rap battle.
Okay.
And then we would have a couple of featured rappers. So to kind of show the spectrum of comedy to rap and how similar they could be. It was a really fun show. And we loved putting it on.
It was, yeah.
It was, and Dave and I cooked it up over the bar at Acme. He was a bartender there, fill-in bartender, and we were just hanging a server, and we were hanging out, and we cooked this show idea up, and we put it together, and then very tragically, on May 1st of this year, Dave was killed in a home invasion. And it was, in a very nice neighborhood. It was right on Broadway, right behind Uncle Frankie's.
Right. Oh, gosh, yeah.
It was a break-in, and he was killed, and the police are still investigating his murder. I know they have some suspects. They have pretty strong ideas or whatever, but no arrests have been made, and so it's been a few months, and so we, some people, friends of Dave, have organized a group that's called What Happened to Dave Velk. It's kind of our moniker.
Okay.
And the idea is just to keep awareness up, and we actually do think I think the police are working on it. We just we're not trying to pressure anybody, but we just want to keep make sure the investigation's still going on, and also to cast out to see, there still might be some people with Ring camera footage on their door bells, or they heard something the night of the first. So we're also looking for any information that people can get. So the show, we're going to do a special Beatdown fundraiser.
Nice.
This Wednesday at Spring Street Tavern at 8 p.m. October 25th, and that's going to be just a celebration of Dave, and also a way to raise just a little bit of money. All the funds that we raise are going to go just toward the website, keeping the website up, keeping the Crime Stoppers hotline link up, keeping the awareness campaign up, paying for some flyers to hit the neighborhood.
First things first, I'm so sorry for your loss. What a horrible thing.
It was one of the most shocking things that's ever happened to me.
Of course.
I mean, it didn't happen, obviously, to me, but
in your life, to someone you knew. Candace, I know you and Dave were friends as well.
Yeah, we worked together at Acme for a while, and we're friends. And it's just one of those things, you never think something like this can happen. And when it happens to someone as special as Dave was, and he just did so much in his life, and he was just so caring and did so much for so many people, and it's just not fair. And I think we want to just keep him alive too, as keep his music and everything that he stood for going strong as well.
Sure. That's that's lovely, and you might as well if you're going to do that, you might as well have fun doing it.
Yeah, because Dave was a very fun guy. He was very funny. Here's the thing: Dave was really funny, except when he tried to do stand-up, and he was not a very good stand-up. He used to come to my open mic, but he has just amazing energy. And we were hanging out after the mic one night, and he goes, I'm really a rapper. And I'm like, and if you see Dave's a bald white fellow with big dorky grin, and I was like, yeah, sure, good for you, pal.
Right.
And then during the pandemic, he and our friends Neil and Bria put together a band, and they released these videos. And I remember watching the first video and being like, oh my God, Dave's a rapper. Like he was really,
that's amazing.
really good.
Yeah.
And so he would play almost every beatdown. He would kind of close it out or play. Sometimes we'd have him. He'd fill in. Sometimes you don't always have everyone show up when you're hosting a rap showcase and a comedy showcase. So I'd fill in for the comics who didn't show up, and he'd fill in for the rappers.
Right.
But just a tremendous music. So we'll look up Dave Velk, VELK. Check out his music. Really great stuff. He put out some very cool videos.
Yeah, it's fun and it's really honest. You know, he was always honest about what he was going through, and
that's awesome.
Was able to like connect with everyone in a nice way.
The Comedy Rap Beatdown Memorial of Dave Velk. It is October 25th at the Spring Street Tavern at 8 p.m. Tickets are $15. The 25th is, what is that, Tuesday?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday, sorry.
Yeah.
This coming Wednesday, October 25th. Right on. We are talking also on the show today, Brian Miller, about concerts.
Sure.
First concert, what was it?
Oh, man. I think the embarrassing answer is John Michael Montgomery, the country singer, because I grew up in Kentucky, and my dad just one day we got in the car and he says, because my dad was divorced. Mm-hmm. So when your dad's divorced, sometimes you get in the car and then your dad turns to you and goes, we're going somewhere. Yeah, right. And then you show up at some lady's house or some event with some lady and her kids. I just remember showing up at a John Michael Montgomery concert.
Wow. Okay.
I actually think that was the first concert I went to by choice.
Yeah,
you know?
right. Yeah.
The first concert that I got tickets to, I think, was Aerosmith.
Okay.
Which is pretty solid.
That checks out.
It was either Aerosmith, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Bob Dylan, all within kind of a span of a year.
Oh, I got that.
As soon as I got my license, basically.
Yeah, that's a good list. Best concert ever.
Oof, best concert ever. I just saw the Rebirth Brass Band, the New Orleans Brass Band.
Yeah, you can do a lot worse.
I haven't seen one that good in many years. Okay, best concert, definitely, though, come to think of it, was David Byrne on the tour that he did with Brian Eno when the new Byrne Eno thing came out, which was about 2009.
Yeah.
And they would play songs from the Byrne Eno catalog, which included tons of the Talking Heads stuff, which is my favorite band of all time. It's
pretty great.
And so I got to see like Burning Down the House and all these incredible songs. It wasn't like seeing the Talking Heads, but it's as close as you're going to get.
Have you been to Stop Making Sense in a theater over the last month?
I saw it 5 times in the theater.
Attaboy.
By the way, I own the DVD. I've seen it probably 20 times, but
I've seen it. I've watched it dozens of times. Went right to the theater and just sat there in absolute disbelief and awe, as always.
I couldn't believe how much better it was on the big screen when it was my favorite on the small screen. But I just went back every few days in IMAX.
Yeah, that's really great. I have a great one of my favorite stories ever. Just happens to be about John Michael Montgomery. Okay, so
I hadn't thought about that name in forever.
Nor have I. But I love this. There's a Nashville mid-90s Nashville, Tennessee. There was a band called BR549.
Yes,
tremendous honky tonk band,
very
old
good.
School country. Amazing band. We took them out on the road with us for 6 months in 1996. The Black Crowes did. They were our opening band. They're all the most talented players, singers, everything. Chuck Mead, one of the 2 guitarists and lead singers of BR549, on a night in Nashville, before Nashville was like what people think of it now. When it was old Nashville, Broadway had honky tonks, but it was really seedy. He would show up at a honky tonk and play for tips. He would just set at the stage, set up a jar, and play old standards. And so this guy, Chuck Mead, tremendous talent, he's singing old country at a time when new country was taking over the world, the John Michael Montgomerys of the world.
Yeah.
And so John Michael Montgomery and his boys roll up into this, into Robert's Western world, Western Wear, the boot shop where they have music at night. And they're already deep in their cups. And John Michael Montgomery shouts up to the stage to this guy, Chuck Mead, who at that time was an unknown. He said, "I'll give you $25 for every Hank Williams song you know," because he's feeling good. Chuck Mead knows every Hank Williams song backwards and forwards, and he literally was like, "Okay, you got a deal." And so after the 4th song, John Michael Montgomery's like, "Okay, man, okay, I got it. Here's 100." And John Michael Montgomery's friends were like, No, you said every song. And he literally had to go to the ATM. And so $25 a song. And Chuck goes, "I stopped playing at $775.
Whoa!
Seriously,
because I just felt bad for him. And then to John Michael Montgomery's credit, he was still running with friends who wouldn't let him off the hook.
Sure.
But the best part, I said, "Damn, Chuck, back then that was a lot of money. What'd you do with it?" He goes, "Well, for one night I drank imported beer."
Fancy.
Also, it's perfect because Hank Williams songs are like 2 minutes each.
Of
so
course.
you can really squeeze in a lot of
out.
Hank songs.
And he knew them all, man. He was just on a bender of Hank Williams. It was of all the guys on earth to say that to. He literally picked the one dude that has the entire catalog right there in his head. Candace, while Brian's here, let's take a phone call. Let's see what we got. Who wants to share some thoughts with us?
Okay, Mike from Stillwater.
Mike, good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody.
What do you got for us, brother?
Well, first, best, and worst, probably all in the same concert.
Oh, I like it already. It's like my friend who got pregnant and got herpes the first time she had sex.
Wow.
That's a true story.
Well, I was 16 in Colorado, and that summer they started a concert series, Super Sundays. I was at the first one. First band was Gerard.
Okay.
Then Santana.
Okay.
Then Fleetwood Mac.
Whoa.
Then the Beach Boys.
Wow.
Whoa.
Started strong, ended a little dodgy, but okay.
Well, it was a good day until my date ended up under the blanket with my best friend, and I was the chauffeur for the night.
Oh,
that hurts.
That's not how it's supposed to go.
Although, that tends to go that way on occasion.
It does. We've all been there.
Midday, when it started raining, as it always does in the middle of the afternoon, I was sitting in the rain. They went under the blanket together, and that rounded out the day.
Man, that's a day. That's a day for the ages right there.
It was.
We appreciate the call, brother, and thank you for the story. We got to hop. First, best, and worst. Man, you mentioned those concert. You mentioned those three things, and the phones light up. The Facebook page goes crazy. We had someone who posted on Facebook her first concert was Elvis, and her worst concert was Nickelback. How many people can say they've seen Elvis Presley and Nickelback?
That's the spectrum.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see that Venn diagram right there. It's pretty incredible. So, Brian, brother, as I said when you were here before, you're always welcome, and I'm so glad you took advantage of that opportunity. Let's say this one more time. October 25th, Wednesday night at the Spring Street Tavern in Northeast, the Comedy Rap Beatdown, a memorial for Dave Velk. Your good buddy, Candace's good buddy. That's an awesome night. It'll be fun. Clearly, it's $15, and we would encourage everybody to stop by. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. We got some great comics and great rappers, so looking forward to seeing everybody out there at Spring Street.
All right, very, very good. We're getting back into the concert mindset at 9 o'clock. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, October the 20th. Good morning. If you're just joining us, we've been talking about rock music all morning long, talking about great concerts we've been to. Actually, the list is first, worst, and best. That's the concerts. That's the context with which this conversation has taken place for the last few hours. Everybody's got good stories. Everybody has a great first concert or a bad first concert, but along the way, we fill all those in. We've got one Jimi Hendrix. We've got one Elvis Presley. Haven't heard from someone who saw the Beatles yet. I guess we'll still wait to hear that. You got a text?
I got a text. First concert was the Beatles.
Oh, never mind. I stand corrected.
Worst was Vanilla Fudge. Didn't show up. Instead, it was 1910 Fruit Gum Company.
How is that the fill-in band?
Is that weird?
Man, Metallica canceled, but Donnie and Marie are coming back out of Vegas to fill their place.
How about this for a first? Tom Jones with the Count Basie Orchestra. Wow. At the Met Center. That's pretty solid.
I can promise you that was a great night because Tom Jones doesn't have nights that aren't great.
Oh, damn.
Man, he is the realest of the deals. KQRS Facebook page, if you want to share your comments. If you want to call us on the KQ Talk and text line, 651-989-ROCK is the answer. I know only a couple of people, I know concert promoters who saw the Beatles, people from the industry, but as fans go, I think I only know two people that ever saw the Beatles. One of them is my sister-in-law, Bunny. My oldest brother's wife saw them twice, 64 and 65. But honestly, it's just, I just don't know of other people. I just haven't met civilians, if you will, that actually saw them as many times as you think about them playing. It wasn't that many shows in the States. I mean, a few dozen, 64, 65, and 66. That was it. So, but we'd love to hear from you. Candace, who is on the horn right now?
We have Phil from Wabasha.
Phil, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing? I hope I don't lose you. I'm driving in the hinterlands of Wisconsin.
Well, then get right to it, brother. Let us know what you got for us.
To it. Well, my first concert was in, I believe, summer of '77. It was Ted Nugent with the opening band of Golden Earring.
Wow,
that was awesome.
Golden Earring, Dutch band who broke up in the year. Wait for it, 2021. They were around for Golden Earring was still a band, and they only broke up because one of the founders got sick, and 60 years literally. That band was around for 60 years. Wow. Anyway, sorry, but I just wanted to give him a shout out. Good job.
Hey. No problem. That was great. The worst, I haven't heard this guy's name come up either, was Frank Zappa at Northrop Auditorium, I think in about 83.
Really?
That guy had a cigarette in his mouth the whole concert. He had a guy tending him to catch his ashes through the whole concert. You couldn't understand him because he had the cigarette in his mouth, and his music is strange anyway.
Well, that's kind of by design.
That was a weird concert.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if any of you guys ever heard Frank Zappa before.
Of course. Oh, yeah. Don't you eat that yellow snow, baby.
Yeah.
Do you have a best concert?
Yeah. Best concert, I believe 2016, last time they were on tour, and I got to see The Professor, and I think, Steve, you know who I'm talking about.
Surely do.
Excel Energy Center.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Yeah.
And so it was Rush. I couldn't wait to see him. I'm a percussionist like you, but not at your same level. Mm-hmm. I'm just a novice. But to see the God for me was just the most cool thing in my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I saw Rush once, and I walked away thinking, well, he and I played different instruments.
Yeah, right.
There's really no way to compare to that. Hey, thank you for the call, brother. We appreciate it.
Hey, you guys take care. Thank you. Bye.
So he saw Rush with 12,000 other dudes.
Yeah. I saw Rush on the Snakes and Arrows tour.
Okay.
And they came out, they opened with Spirit of Radio. Great song to open with.
Sure.
And then they proceeded to play 3 brand new songs off of Snakes and Arrows.
Yeah.
And by the third song, you could tell people were a little tired. Like, come on, man. Like, let's just move on. And finally, they finished up with that third song, and the crowd at the XL was like, okay, great. It got dead silent in the XL, and the guy behind me screamed. It echoed throughout the arena, play some Rush. Oh, it was great.
That's such a good line. That's really funny. I remember watching a documentary on Rush in 2008 or 9 or 10 or something, and it was so funny. They were discussing the fact that, like, we would love it if a woman ever came to see us. Like, that was the joke within the band. And they were saying they had talked about they were going to call the tour Sausage Fest, and they just couldn't pull the trigger on it. And that was the whole joke. So anytime I'm talking to a Rush fan, I'm always like, oh, man, you and those 10,000 dudes, that must have been awesome. Yeah. But that's what it was,
Absolutely, yeah. When they have the behind the scenes, and they're like, yeah, Van Halen was throwing TVs out of windows, and there's Rush in their hotel rooms reading.
Yeah,
what?
Exactly, like, right.
What are you doing?
Not only reading, but writing their own books too. Just constantly ruminations on William Shakespeare's lost trope. It's like, okay, thanks, Neil. Wow, go for it, dude. Candace, we have a lot of folks that want to share some thoughts with us. Who else do we have?
Don from Winston.
Don, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. You're a breath of fresh air since you've been here, bud.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. What have you got for us today?
My first concert, 1976, I saw the Beach Boys.
All righty.
Okay, the worst concert, 1983, the Beach Boys.
Consistent.
The reason I saw them, Steve, me and my youngest brother and a buddy of ours went to a Twins game. They were $3 tickets, so we went to the Twins game. They played the Orioles that night.
Nice.
After the game, the concert, there's about a 3-second delay from stage to the crowd, so that sucked.
Yeah, but at least you saw the 1983 World Series champion Baltimore Orioles. Hey, you had that going for you.
I sure did. Cal Ripken Jr., of course.
Mm-hmm.
Also, 77, I saw Led Zeppelin at the Met Center, where the Mall of America is now.
Yeah, that'll work.
Great show, but the best concert, and it still lives with me today, was Bob Seger, 1978.
Oh, what a time to see Seger.
At the Met Center.
Yeah.
he had done a lot of his Live Bullet and then Night Moves, but he had just came out with Stranger in Town. So that would have been like 78, I believe.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the best concert I've ever seen. I still remember it vaguely today. It's just awesome.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Hey, Don, thank you for the kind words and thank you for the call, brother. Seeger in 78 would be that's top shelf Seeger right there. That would be pretty great. My wife's first concert was her first concert was Led Zeppelin in 1977. She was 12, and she was right up front in Birmingham, Alabama, and. And some years later, in 2007, as we were having a cup of coffee with Jimmy Page, she mentioned that. She said, I actually saw Zeppelin in Birmingham, Alabama in 77. And he goes, we played Birmingham in 77. She goes, yeah. He goes, I wonder why we did that. And then he literally answered his own question. He goes, well, it must have been an easy in and out. Like the ingress and egress to the airport must have made sense for some. I'm sure we were in Atlanta and just flew over and did it and flew back. And it was just watching him try to figure out, like, because he knows the A markets, he knows the B markets. And in 77, they only played a dozen or so. I mean, he was like, Birmingham, really? Yeah. And it was just funny watching that go through his brain. Like, huh. That's interesting. Candace, what else have we got? Who else do we have, I should say?
Craig from Blaine.
Craig, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, it's not actually my story, but I've heard it many times from my wife. She actually grew up in Miami, and she won a call-in radio, and one of the first concerts the Beatles did in Jacksonville, so they actually flew her and some other winners up from Miami to Jacksonville.
Wow.
Ringo Starr's sister was on the plane with them.
Go figure. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, I just thought I'd share that because it was back in the early 60s.
Yeah, 64.
Don't exact the year, but it was one of their early.
Yep.
So.
Hey, Craig, thanks for the call, brother. That Jacksonville show is actually famous. The Beatles refused to play because the promoter had it set up as a segregated concert, and they were like, no way. They went back and forth, and then they said it was general admission, but they had white and black section, and the Beatles wouldn't play it. They said, that's not how we roll, man. And so it was the first concert at that venue with that promoter where he let people sit where they wanted.
Yeah. That was the one.
Money talks. Money talks.
Yeah, the Beatles were like, really? No, that's not how that's going to work. Golly, wow. Seeing the Beatles in 64, though, not just, there's always a new band that's hot and exciting and all that, but that was the first time. You know what I mean? Like, there had been Elvis, and there had been Buddy Holly, and there had been Little Richard, but a band... You know, it's crazy to think they're still the biggest band, and they're the first band that really broke through like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah, and everybody's time comes. So I just wonder how long it's going to take for all like the new pop stars. How much more are we going to have to put up with? I'd say put up with. That's probably a bad choice of words, but Ed Sheeran and Harry Styles and Taylor Swift. Like, how much longer are we going to have to endure some of these songs?
Brother, Taylor Swift ain't going anywhere.
No, you're right. Because last night I picked up my daughter and 5 of her friends from a haunted house, and they said, "Can we?" And they got in the car and they're all rambunctious, and then they said, "Can we listen to Taylor Swift?" And we put it on.
Yeah.
Immediately, everybody in the car just shut up and listened and sang along. And I was like, all right, this is what it needs to do to calm you kids down. Great.
I'm calling my shot, which I have already. Taylor Swift, assuming it's like she's a quarterback, assuming she stays healthy, assuming she has if she lives her life expectancy, she will be, when it's all said and done, #1 all time ahead of Paul McCartney for greatest career in rock / pop history.
That's pretty bold.
She got the jump on him, and she's going to do stadiums for as long as she wants. Sure. That audience is never going to wane. It's only going to grow.
And you're growing up with them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
when you are releasing records at 15 and 16, and girls your age and a few years older, but then half your age, jump on board right then. Mm-hmm. My daughter's 21. She will be she will ride or die with Taylor forever. Candace, what are your thoughts on Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I love Taylor Swift. I liked her a lot when I was younger, and her first couple albums were like very important to me. But I think she's awesome. I love how she's like a dork. It's funny.
She's definitely got that. She's got good dork energy.
I think she'll go through a psychedelic period go through different incarnations.
Sick, dude. I'd like to hear like a heavy metal.
Let me tell you something. I've never had this thought, but I know something very deeply in my bones. If there's one person on earth who we have to make sure never does hallucinogens, it's Taylor Swift.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift Sitar album I'm not looking forward to.
I'm just telling you, when someone that's that much in control of her entire universe and she's created this universe, let that car go off the skids into the ditch, it's never coming back on. She'll be the next. She'd be like Sid Barrett. What happened to her? Can you imagine Taylor Swift coming back from an ayahuasca trip? I see things very differently now. That song about Tim McGraw was actually about Mahatma Gandhi. That would be incredible. Yeah. Candace, who else have we got on the phone?
We have Stu from Cali.
Stu, good morning.
Hey, good morning, fellas. How you doing?
All is great here, brother. What do you got for us?
Awesome. My first show was at Wonderland Arena.
Oh, I like it already.
Summer of 1970. It was Santana.
That'll work. With a teenaged Neil Sean playing guitar.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The thing that always stuck with me was I was 14 and he was on stage with Santana the year after Woodstock. He had to be 15.
I think he was 15 when he joined the band.
Wow.
Yep.
It was awesome, man. That started an 8-year run. We'll go to shows in Wonderland before they closed.
Man, that's great.
I love that place, man.
What was your favorite gig? What's the best gig ever?
Now, this one's going to be a little off the wall, but The Who and the Grateful Dead at Oakland Coliseum outdoors on a Sunday was just incredible.
Yeah, that's a good day.
It was awesome.
Wow.
I got a good worst one, and it's for the situation, not for the show.
Okay.
Led Zeppelin 74 at Kezar Stadium. They were 6 hours late.
That'll happen.
We were fried cookies by the time they showed. The show was great, but God, man, waiting that long, we were done.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. Wow. Kezar Stadium, Led Zeppelin. I don't remember them having played there. I just looked it up. It was 73, not 74.
Oh, okay. I knew. Sorry, man.
Oh, no, dude, I get it. I know the Day of the Green show in 77. I've heard about different ones, but that one, by the way, that whole show is on YouTube if you want to see it. I'm looking at it right now. Holy crap.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, listen, we got to bounce, but I thank you for the call, man.
All right, love the show, guys.
Thank you. See ya. Led Zeppelin in 73. Yeah, that would have worked for me.
Yeah.
I was 8. I would have been fine going to see Led Zeppelin.
Can you imagine all the stuff that I was born in the wrong era? Oh,
yeah,
man. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Rancid, but I can only see him how many times? You know, would love to have seen Zeppelin. I never thought about the concert situation. You know what he said about the situation that we were in? I never thought. I went to a Foo Fighter. There was a girl that I was friends with, and she was like, I bought tickets for the sold-out Foo Fighters show, and then we went out to dinner beforehand, and she's like, hey, so by the way, I bought tickets because I wanted to tell you that I'm in love with you. And I'm like, well, that's a bad timing because I just started redating my ex-girlfriend. And so we went to the concert, and halfway through, she's like, I'm going to get up and get a beer. And then she left.
Sure she did.
And texted me and said, hey, I'm sorry I can't do this. I'm like, absolutely. I totally understand. And then the next day I got to work. I was on a morning radio show, and I had not told the show about the situation that had happened the night before.
Okay.
This girl called in to the show and told the story about last night I went to the Foo Fighter show with this guy who told me that he's still in love with his ex-girlfriend after I dropped $800 on concert tickets. And I'm like, cut the phone call. Cut it now.
That's a rough one, man. Yeah. Holy smokes.
What a dink, but I bet he's a really good guy with a nice heart.
I bet he had good intentions and really thinks you're a nice person, and I bet you guys could probably still work out a friendship, but maybe he's just not in love with you is what he's really trying to say. Cut the call.
Oh, man, that's amazing. The Rolling Stones dropped a new album today, Hackney Diamonds. I saw the Stones, the first time I saw the Stones was in 1989 on the Steel Wheels tour, and I went into that stadium in Birmingham, Alabama with my band. We all went over together, and we had this entire 150-mile drive where we were listening not to Steel Wheels but to the Keith Richards solo album he had put out, Talk Is Cheap, because we were all about Keith, the riff, the cool guy. Mix the sellout hack. Screw him. We want to see Keith, man. Keith is what it's all about, isn't it? Keith and Woody and Charlie, that's the band. Mix just a prop up front. And the show starts. The lights go down. We're dead center, 20 rows back, and then boom, you hear the riff to Start Me Up, and we're like, "There's Fresh Keith! And we're all cheering. And then Mick comes running from the side, and he goes right up to the front of the stage, and he says, start me up. And I'm looking at him, and I literally went, ah! Like, I screamed like it was a girl at an Elvis Presley gig. I was like, Mick! And so much for being cool.
Yeah.
Because the first time you see that guy in person, it's kind of overwhelming.
I
like,
bet.
oh, that's a human. He's a real person. Oh, he's actually still doing that thing. Yeah, crazy.
How many times did you see the Stones?
I have seen them like as a member of the house 3 times. We toured with them, so I saw them a bunch in the summer of '95.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I stood right behind Charlie's drum kit, as close as I am to you. There's a scrim right behind the kit, so you can see from backstage out, but the house can't see through it that way, like a 2-sided mirror. But it's like clear, so I was right over his shoulder for a whole show, watching, just going, holy smokes, man, this is top-notch living right here. Speaking of top-notch living, we got a little bit left of the show today. I'm going to say it right now, so in case I forget, Rudy, thank you, brother, for coming in this week.
Well, thank you very much for having me, you guys. This really has been it's been a good week. It's kind of been a up and down the last few months, but I'm so glad I had an opportunity to come and hang with you guys. So thank you.
It's been our pleasure. Zepp will be back from London Monday, assuming he gets on the plane. But this has really been fun. So we're not quite done yet. We still have a history lesson to get through, so hang tight for that.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. By the way, in case you're wondering what goes on around here during the commercial breaks, we solve all the world's problems. We just have conversations and we make so much sense. Either that or, no, actually, we tell the kind of stories we can't tell on the air. Like this one time at a concert, and there was this girl in a limousine, and she came. No, it's really not like that at all. We sit around and go, wait, what are we going to talk about next? And today that hasn't been the problem, because we've been talking about rock concerts all damn morning, and good gosh almighty, everybody wants to share their stories, which we greatly appreciate. The KQRS Facebook page is loaded for bear. We've had multiple calls. We've had as many phone calls as we've had ever, I think, since I've been in town. And Tony, no shortage of text messages from the dear listeners.
So true. Thanks so much to everybody. It's been just a treasure trove. There's no way we can get to all of them. A couple of good ones, though. Dick from Cottage Grove, like you said, Steve. My brother and his buddies snuck me into Met Stadium to see the Beatles. All I remember is so much screaming. I was 5.
Oh, wow. Strong.
How about that for a first one?
Yeah, that's a pretty good first concert.
Best Emerson, Lake and Palmer in Buffalo in quadraphonic sound. Stone people going, whoa.
Yeah, for sure.
Night.
That's awesome.
And the worst was Toby Keith in Hinckley, Grand Casino. He was so drunk, he said, where the hell is Hinckley? And his daughter had to take the stage and sing for him.
I thought you said Toby Keith and Hinckley, and I was going to go into a whole John Hinckley shtick, but you meant in Hinckley. Okay, got it. Where Toby Keith was so drunk, he said, where's Hinckley?
Yeehaw. Yeah, and his daughter had to step up and sing for him.
I don't know. You ever been to Hinckley? Not much to do. I'd rather drink,
Kind of checks out.
Yeah,
does
for sure.
it a little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit. I've not been to Hinckley. I've never been to Hibbing.
Oh, yeah, you got to go.
I got to go.
Yeah, one time. That's it. One quick trip and then done.
You went to Hinckley.
Did I go to Hinckley?
Yeah, that's where Toby's. That's where Toby Keith should have gone. Over to Toby's for a karma roll.
Oh, that's in Hinckley.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then I stand corrected.
Yeah.
But I said I've never been to Hibbing, which I got to do as a lifelong Dylan guy, and begrudging respect for a member of a team I hate, but Kevin McHale, Boston Celtic great from Hibbing, Minnesota.
You go up there on a Friday, you can see that guy hammered at Sammy's Pizza.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who, McHale?
McHale, yeah.
How much does it take to get that guy's a giant? It takes a lot of beer to get him hammered at this stage of the game, I got to think.
Yeah, I was in there one night, Sammy's Pizza up in Hibbing. I was having a pie with a couple friends, and he just walked by. He had a couple of pops in him, and he just walked by and grabbed a slice off our table and kept walking.
All right.
I was like, which one of us is going to tell him no?
No, not at all.
One of us.
No, he didn't have a problem with Wes Unseld. He ain't going to be bothered by you. I was at a pizza place in Cincinnati in 1984 or 5. Helping a buddy move, sitting down, having a slice, and it's a little hole-in-the-wall joint, and Johnny Bench is at the booth right next to us.
No way.
At a time when Johnny Bench was all caps, Johnny Bench. And it was just, I just stared at him like, what, you just go out and you're a human and you eat pizza?
Sure.
Go figure. It's crazy. That's good stuff, man. You see a guy like that out and about. We were probably the only people who didn't, freak out, walk by. You see people's like their hair literally like they've been like stick a fork in a socket. Like, you know, it happens. I'm trying to think. As long as we're on that topic, did you ever bump into someone and you were the horrible, stupid fan who put your foot in your mouth and you weren't sure what to say? Did you ever have a moment like that with a celeb?
Yeah.
Who? Candace, lay it on me.
Well, okay. I used to work at Acme, so Nick Swardson came in once.
Okay.
And it was late. I know it was like, you know, but I really just geeked out because I used to love the movie Benchwarmers.
Okay.
Where he plays Howie, and I used to quote it all the time.
Oh,
and
you're the one.
I was just like oversaturating him all night quoting it because it's seriously like he was so funny in that movie. And he didn't get mad, but I think he got a little annoyed.
After he saw your game after a few plays. Okay. Got it. Tony, you don't strike me as the guy who would ever lose his mind like that in the moment of truth.
No, I danced next to Prince the night that he met Apollonia.
Oh. Wow.
Kind of cool.
My God.
And he told me that I was the best dancer he'd ever seen. No, that didn't happen. But,
part of that story is true. Yes. That's like saying I was there when Charles met Diana.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, it was an epic moment. He was there in his little leopard pants.
God, imagine how little they were, too. It'd be like a bandana for me.
I feel like my mom and you were at a lot of the same things.
Candace is reminding you how young she is, Tony.
I know.
Your disco boots.
Mrs. Wheeler.
I have been literally speechless once, and it was in 1992 at the MTV Video Music Awards. And it was not because of anyone there as a musician, but because backstage I was standing there loitering as you do, and I looked up, and 5 feet to my left was Earvin Magic Johnson.
Oh, cool.
The man responsible for my love of the great game of basketball. And I was like, I am going to go say hello to him. And there was a few people talking to him, and I was kind of waiting, and then someone would walk away, and I'd get a little closer. And then he turned and saw me, and I was wearing, at the time, a gold suit with purple pinstripes. Looks great on TV.
Sure.
It's like stage wear. And those are Lakers colors. And he looked at me before I could say anything. He went, "Nice suit, my man." And I just went, oh. And I just stared at him. And then he turned around and talked to someone else. And then right then someone goes, "Steve, we got to go." And I was like, that was it. That was my moment. And I didn't say a word. I just walked away. I was like, damn. Wow. Otherwise, I've been okay. That one caught me off guard. Mm-hmm. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, Magic's, what an imposing figure he must have been.
And this is 1 year, this is 11 months after he retired and announced to the world he was HIV positive. Wow. So it was also very fraught with emotion. Oh, wow. At the time, still thinking he's probably going to be dead soon. Yeah. Like literally in my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I get to see him. And I just wanted to hug him. I wanted to say thank you. And I'm so sorry you're not well. And he threw the good suit. And I just was like frozen, deer in the headlights, man. Wow. No idea what came over me.
I bumped into Wayne Knight at the Sherman Oaks Mall in L.A. He played Newman on Seinfeld.
I was going to say, are you Newman?
Wow.
Yeah, bumped right into him. Of course, I just went, "Hello, Newman."
Did you really?
He gave me the finger guns.
At that mall in Sherman Oaks?
Yeah.
I saw Eric Idle at that mall.
Oh, funny.
And he was in a walking boot, like a broken foot, which means he couldn't get away from me. He saw me coming. This is great. I walk in, and I'm with my son, who's like 3, and I see Eric Idle, and it's the same thing. I'm like, I'll never see this guy again. And so I picked my son up so I wouldn't be delayed. And as I'm making a beeline for him, he looks up and sees me, and I watch his face recognize, oh, here's another Python jerk. And he starts to turn, and then he kind of gives up, like, I can't possibly get away. And he stood there, and he turned back to me and just like gave me a look like exasperation, like, okay, let's do this. But it was all funny too. He was being funny, and I said, "Hey man, I'm just gonna say thanks. I'm gonna keep walking." And he goes, "You said you were gonna keep walking." I went, "You're right." And then I just kept walking. Funny. But it was that fast. It was just boom, 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 and I was like, I can't piss off Eric Idle.
From now on, call me Loretta.
Oh man.
And it always seems like the people I'm not gonna be weirded out in front of, I get weirded out in front of. You know, like I met somebody. I can hang out with the best of rock stars, no problem. But then I met Wayne Newton and could not get words to come out of my mouth.
I get that.
Yeah, because he's old Vegas, you know, and he was great.
Sure.
And at some point during the interview, I had produced an interview with him, I don't know, 6 months ago, and then the interviewer left, and it was just Wayne and I in the room. And it's just him and I'm like, Mr. Newton, can you sign an autograph? And he's like, yeah. And I hand him my notebook, and he takes it. He goes, who do I make it out to? And I said, can you make it out to Dorothy? She's a family friend and she's a big fan, but like I'm a big fan, but like but then my family's like they're big fans. And then I just kept going, shut up.
Yeah.
And he handed me back this, the autograph, and he must have just kept writing because he thought, this is so awkward. I have to do something while this guy fumbles over his words.
Yeah.
And he handed it back to me, and we took a quick photo, and it was like I time warped. My brain just went black, and then it woke up, and I was like, did I just talk to Wayne Newton?
Yeah.
What happened?
That's funny. I didn't meet Tom Jones, but I was on a bill with Tom Jones a few times. In '94, we did a series of Christmas shows on West Coast alt-rock radio stations. Remember, he did a cover of Kiss, the Prince song.
Oh, sure.
And it was a hit. And so we did all those like K-Rock and stations like that, San Diego and like up in San Jose. There was a handful of shows where it was the Christmas show. It was a bunch of bands. You get up and play 20 or 30 minutes, no more than a half hour. And the bill, it was Dinosaur Jr., the Black Crowes, Hole, and Tom Jones.
Wow.
That's the bill at this gig in San Diego. And Tom Jones, and we're all laughing like Tom Jones. And then he walks down the hallway. And it's that thing you suddenly recognize, like, I don't remember life without that guy in it.
Yeah.
And he's a great talent. And he's you can't really categorize him or pigeonhole him because he's done, you see him on TV with James Brown. And then you see him with Johnny Cash. Right. And then you see him with Stereophonics. And then you see, any generation, any era, he makes you sound better. He's incredible. And he walked down the hall towards the stage. So you got Dinosaur Jr. and Courtney Love's band and the Black Crowes, and everyone's in the hall hanging out, and he comes down, and it was like Moses entering. Everybody just went,
yeah.
We all had the same reaction, and then and he walks by, and he's like, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. And he gets on stage, and we all go to the side of the stage and watch, and we just look at each other the whole time going, they don't make them like this guy anymore. It was incredible. Didn't shake his hand. I wanted to. Like, damn. Yeah. You see, and Wayne Newton, I can only imagine.
Yeah. It was so, I don't know. Very seldom do I ever get like that. I was just like, I had the same exact thought you did with Tom Jones. I went, Wayne Newton. Okay, great. I'll meet him. He's not, but for whatever reason, when he walked in the room, he smelled amazing. The hair was great.
Yeah.
Very personable, shakes everybody's hands, looks you right in the eye, makes you feel like you're the only person on the planet. Yeah, there's a reason why he's Wayne Newton.
Absolutely. All right, let's look back. How about a history lesson? Sports history on this day. The Atlanta Braves in Game 1 of the World Series played the New York Yankees in the Bronx. Andruw Jones was 19 years old for the Braves, and he hit not one but 2 home runs in Game 1 of a World Series. The youngest player to ever hit a single home run in a World Series game, and he had 2. And the Braves won the first 2 games in Yankee Stadium, and I was celebrating, and I celebrated, and then they lost the next 4, and I've never been sadder about sports in my entire life. That's a true story.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.